Hey guys, welcome. After this weekend ride, when I got home, I noticed that the left fork leg started crying. Uh, Most likely the seal is shut, so I have to replace it. But before I replace it, I just want to show you guys some tools, some cheap tools that I have in my garage, and they are very useful, and they might be handy for this kind of job. The first thing is the toolbox. It's a BGS Technic 2292. It's a pretty cheap toolbox at 96 euros on Amazon. It's medium quality, and it's fairly complete. It has everything you need to work on car motorcycles in your garage. You have the link in the description. The seal pusher, link in the description. The fork oil from Motorex 7.5W, and finally the seals and the dust cap from All Ball Racing. My motorcycle jack, again bought from Amazon. It can hold up to 600 kilograms. It is very useful. You can suspend the bike, the front, the back, or the entire bike, and you can easily move it around the garage. Another thing you might consider for your garage is this workshop rolling board. It's of course easy to work with it on the cars because you can slide in and out. But what I like most, it's foldable, so you can make it a chair. And this is a very useful feature in a garage. Okay, let's start to change the seal because time is running. Okay, so first step for me is to loosen the fork cap. And why I'm doing this first? Because the last time when I changed the fork oil, I forgot to loosen it, but I loosened the upper clamp and the lower clamp, and after that I have to put everything together because I do not like to put my fork leg in a vise to loosen this and take it off. Also, another tip, just be careful what kind of tool you use, because the first time I used this kind of tool and the result you can see it. I actually ruined the fork cap because it's made from aluminium, and it's very sensitive, and you'll easily scratch it and destroy it. Now I will use this kind of tool. I highly recommend it. Use this, and also put some paper tape around it, and after that loosen it. This way you'll protect the cap, and it will look brand new after you finish the job. Okay, now that it's a little bit loosened, we can move to the fender, the wheel, and the protection of the fork. To remove the protection of the fork and also the fender, you need a 14 Allen key, and it goes pretty smooth. As you can see, apart from dirt, it's a lot of oil. Actually, the oil gathered all the dirt, so yeah, have to change it. and the fender is off. Next we'll remove the caliper, but before removing the caliper we have to remove the ABS sensor. ABS sensor off. And now let's remove the caliper, and you need this Allen key number 8. I already loosened it, so I will not hit the camera. Okay, so remove the caliper. Do not let it hang on the brake hose. Just find something and suspend it somewhere. I will use this string and I will hang it. Now the ABS sensor, the bracket that holds it, it has a small screw on the other side, so I recommend to take the wheel off, and after that remove also the ABS sensor and take it out of the way. Now we'll remove the wheel. Unfortunately, whatever toolbox you have, it's very difficult to find the 28 key, so most likely you'll have to buy one separately, and it's helpful because you can use it in your toolkit, and you'll have it all the time. The nut is off. Now we have to loosen these bolts to be able to release the axle and the front wheel. Five Allen key for these, and just loosen them a bit. You don't have to take them out. And then let's see. Okay, let's the spacer. And the wheel is out. Okay, so the axle is out. Don't worry about the position of the spacer because it's symmetric. It's the same any way you put it, so you're good. After removing the wheel, we have access to the ABS sensor bracket. We just have to loosen it enough to allow us to remove the cable and the ABS sensor. Let's see. Yeah. And the ABS sensor is off. Don't forget to clean it when you reinstall it. And now we can proceed to the lower and upper clamp and remove the fork. For the lower clamp we need again an Allen key, 6 this time. And again we just have to loosen it. For the upper clamp, you first have to use a 4 Allen key to remove this screw. I have on the bike aftermarket windscreen, so I didn't use the former bracket for the original windscreen. So just remove this. It's a 4mm Allen key, and after you remove this, you just need 14mm key to loosen this bolt. No, it's a 13, not a 14. Okay, now that everything is loosened, I can remove the fork leg. Just keep in mind and remember the position of the fork. Of course, you can always check the other arm, but normally it's flush. When everything is tightened, the fork cap is almost flush with the upper fork, the upper triple clamp. Okay, so the fork is off. Now we have to start to take off the ring and the seal and change it. Now let's release the oil. I'm curious to see how much oil I have in it, because in the left leg you have to have 297 cc's of oil, and I changed it not too long ago. The color is still decent. Yeah, it's good. I don't think I can show it properly, but it's just below 300, so 297. I think I had the right amount in it. Okay, so now the oil is out. What we have to do is to remove the cap. It has this kind of nut here. Probably it's a 24 or a 25 wrench. I don't have one of those numbers in my wrenches, so I'll use one of these. It will do the trick, because as you can see, the shape it allows for that. So let's take the cap off. Okay, so the cap is off. We don't have to remove this from here. We just pull out the arm, and you know, we just have to force it a little bit, but first we have to remove the dust cap. So for this, just use a screwdriver as small as possible and just easily pry the dust cap without scratching the fork arm, and of course especially not the mirror. Okay, so it's off, and now we can move to the other step. I will try to show you. There is a retainer here. Okay, so I just took the camera closer just to show you guys the retainer of the seal. As you can see, it's a small steel retainer, and just take a plier and take it off. Okay, so I said the plier, but I think it's better with the screwdriver, and you just have to find the end of the retainer clip and pry it out and take it out. Okay, so it jumped. This is what I'm talking about. Just find the end of the clip and pry it out. Now I just want to take it off carefully without scratching the mirror, and it's off. And I just want to put it where I can see it. I want to keep the order, because you know, if I forget, I know how to put it. So as you can see, once the retainer is off, you can easily pull out the seal just by, and it's done. And as you can see, you have a retainer and the actual seal, a spacer and the actual seal, and this seal actually gave up. Now, in order to proceed, we have to take this retainer from here, and we have to use also a screw just to open it a little bit and push it over the edge. Just okay, push it and take it out again easily without scratching the mirror. Once it's out, just put it in order. The first will have this clip, after that the spacer, and the small spacer, and finally we can pull out the seal. So obviously you cannot see if the seal is broken or not. It's just that it's leaking, so it has to be changed. So we'll put the seal also here, the retainer clip, and last, the dust cap. Of course I will change the dust cap and the seal. I will use new ones, but it's still good to keep the order. Before starting putting all back together, thoroughly clean the mirror of the fork and inspect it. Check to see if there are any big damages on it, and especially scratches, deep scratches, and you can put it into a light and it will shine, and you can see if it has some scratches or not. Okay, so I can start putting everything back. Now, the only problem when you put it back are those sharp edges, so you have to cover them with something, maybe some tape, some duct tape, or paper tape, whatever you have around, but just cover the edges until you put the cap and the seal. So I have at hand some paper tape, and I will just use this. And of course I will put some oil on it, just to be sure. Now, the seal itself, it's from All Balls Racing, and it comes with a dust cap and the seal. The seal always has to go with this retention ring down. So this is the place to put it. But first we'll go with the dust cap. Very gentle. Okay, it's good. Then the seal. Okay. Now the big spacer. The other one, spacer, and after we fitted all these, we can take out the tape. Okay. Want to clean it a little bit just to be sure that I don't have any leftovers. And we can put back the retainer. The same. Try it with your hands. Okay, so it is in its position. Okay, now that everything is in place, we can fit the fork sleeve. Use some oil, a little bit of oil to grease this here. Okay. Gently set it in position. And now it's time to use the seal pusher. As you can see, you can push it to look like this, and just to fit the seal pusher and use it. Now, this is not a high quality seal pusher. You will see on the link it's pretty cheap, but it did his job several times, so for sure it will do it now. Just fit it on the fork. And be sure to align the three knobs with the seal. Okay, take your pusher, and just gently tap it out, tap it in. The idea is to tap it until you see the retainer, this retainer channel. As you can see, it's already in. It went pretty far. Hopefully I can show it to you. This is how the seal has to look inside before putting in the retainer clip. Now to fit the retainer ring, and we're almost finished. Just want to clean it a little bit. Fit the closed part, and in the end one side is in, the other side is in. Now just make sure it makes a click when it goes to its seat. So just push it a little bit with the screwdriver without taking care not to scratch the mirror of the fork. Click. Okay. The retainer ring is on his position. You can check it by sliding the fork easily, and you can see it stops. It doesn't go off. Okay, now fit the dust cap. It doesn't go in easy because it's new. And we're set to go. Just to put on the cap screw and fill it with oil and mount it on the bike. So this is the new cup and this is the old one, the one that I damaged. I think you can see the difference, small difference, but a difference. I will try to fix this. Probably I will not be able since it's aluminium and it's very sensitive and it scratches easily. But for now I will use the new one, and I will try not to damage it. So let's put it back. And use again the wrench. Okay, so unfortunately you will not find a torque for this one, but you know, you can just tighten it because it doesn't have to be really tight, just with your hand, and should be enough. Now we have to fit the fork back to its place, and after that we'll fill it with oil. The idea is you have to take a look on the other side and you'll see that the upper clamp, the tri-clamp, it's flush with the fork sleeve. So this is what are you after. So let's fit it. Okay, it's a little bit upper now, but I will take it a little bit down and I will tighten it. Again, we have to use 13 key. Okay, so let's put it on the position. That's it, it's perfect. Let's check the other side. Yeah, it looks the same. And let's tighten this one. Again, the manual doesn't have any torques, so just tighten it, not too much, because you will break the thread. If you use a big wrench like this, be careful. It's better to use a small wrench and just feel it. Unfortunately, you cannot find any torque settings for this. Okay. So what I'm doing, I poured 275 cc's, and after that I will use a 10mm syringe to fill it up to 297. So I have 297 cc's, and just pour them into the fork. Okay, so that's that. Okay, just move the fork a little bit for the oil to go everywhere. Good. Now we have to tighten this, but before I do this, I want to put some tape here just to protect it. Before I tighten the cup, I also want to tighten the lower clamp. Now, one advice that I can give you: before dismounting the fork, make a sign with some paint or with some fingernail paint. Make a sign where the screw the position of the screw, and when you tighten it, you will know where to tighten it, disregarding the fact that we do not have some torque settings for these screws. I don't know if you can still see it, but I still have the marks. These are actually the factory marks, so I will just try to do that. And also tighten them bit by bit. And now use the 17 to tighten the fork cap. Done. Let's see what I did now. Okay, so the new cap looks good. By using paper I didn't damage it, but I highly advise to use some electrical tape. I think it's sturdier. And I'm finished with the fork leg. Now I have to just mount the wheel, the fender, the protection and the caliper, and I'm good to go. Use some grease on the axle. Don't forget to fit the ABS sensor and tighten the bracket from this side. For Allen key. Also here. And now to fit the wheel. The spacer and the nut. The grease actually helped a lot because the axle slided really easy. So now all we have to do is tighten the wheel nut, and put back the caliper, the front fender and the protection of the fork. Looks nice. So guys, regarding the front axle nut, the manual says 63 Newton meters. Probably the value is so low because you also have to tighten the pinch bolts. So what I usually do, I tighten the axle nut, and after that I tighten the pinch bolts. I still have the marks, the paint marks from the factory, so it will be easier for me to tighten them at the correct torque. Because again, in the manual I could not find any torque settings for these pinch bolts. The only difficulty here is that either you have to have someone to keep the axle fixed on the other side, or you have to find a way to keep it fixed while you tighten it, and it's not an easy job. So this is 63 Newton meters, and I have to use this crowbar to hold it on the other side, but it worked. Now the pinch bolt with a 5mm Allen key. This is what I was talking about. See these marks? I highly recommend to do these marks before you untighten any screw on this bike, especially after you check the manual and you saw that you do not have any torque settings for different bolts. Honestly, I didn't do a deep search for the torque setting for these ones, because I already have the marks and you can easily time that. I think this is the easiest way. Next, fit the caliper. So the torque for the caliper bolts is 45 newtons. Done. Now we have to move to the fender and the protector. So I highly recommend to use some thread lock for these. The torque settings are in the manual, but these can easily be tightened by hand. And finally the fork protector, and we're done. So guys, I'm done. I will take the bike for a spin and see how it works. So if you're gonna take away something from this, just remember to protect the fork caps, check the screws for the marks, make some marks with paint before you untighten them, and after that when you tighten them back, put them on the same marks, and be patient. Check the manual. There is a manual online, and it describes pretty good the process, but you can find also a very good tutorial. Actually is the one that I inspired myself on Albeck channel. You'll have it on the description. He serviced the right leg, I did the left leg. It's not a big difference. The legs are different because in this one you have 297 cc's of oil, in this one 498 if I'm not mistaken, and the legs are a little bit different, but the process is the same. Actually I think the right leg is a little bit more complicated in terms of what you have to pull off, because you'll take also the spring out. Okay, that was it. Take care, see you next time, bye.